Hey, I'm definitely getting into real estate investing. What do you think about foreclosure auctions? Hi, I'm Mark Stiles of Stiles Law down here at Studio B. It's a great question. Congratulations on making the decision to be a real estate investor. I'm sure you've watched some of our videos to get a basic understanding. Thanks, Thomas. But what about foreclosure auctions? So these are kind of risky, but as they say, no risk, no reward, right? We have a number of clients here at Stiles Law that do this for a living. They actually go to foreclosure auctions and bid on properties, just like they would for art. They bring their certified check and they bid to the amount that they think the property is worth. When successful, some of them fix up the property and flip it, just like you would see on HGTV. And then some of them use the BRRRR methodology, another video we did. Thanks, Thomas. Remember BRRRR? Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. So they're a buy and hold investor. Okay, so where lie the risks? Well, the number one risk associated with buying at foreclosure auction would be the owner, the former owner. If that former owner is still occupying the property, you would have to conduct an eviction hearing on that occupant. And you might be thinking, well, that can't be that difficult. They didn't pay the mortgage. How are they going to defend themselves in an eviction? That may be accurate in theory. However, practically speaking, most lawsuits that challenge a foreclosure, they begin in housing court, in eviction court. Therefore, no title insurance company will insure that property if the owner remains in that property. And as you know, we always recommend getting title insurance regardless. I think we did a video on that too, Thomas. Thank you. And in this case, it's absolutely necessary. But if you're able to determine that it's actually vacant, what are the other risks, you ask? Well, the condition of the property. You don't have the opportunity to go in the home like you would at an open house. You don't have access to the property, so you're guessing. And you would guess worst case scenario, right? Maybe there's mold in the property. Maybe the septic system failed. Maybe the pipes have burst. Or maybe it's just worn down badly. So you would run the numbers, and it's all about the numbers. When you figure out all of those numbers and you have your maximum bid amount, then sure, get that bank certified check, go to that auction and bid on that property, but be disciplined because there's an environment that's very exciting, very intoxicating when you're at an auction, and you may be tempted to go beyond where you're comfortable. And finally, what about financing? When you're buying at foreclosure, you're typically not going to be able to obtain conventional financing. What do I mean? ABC Mortgage Group, your local lender, they're not going to want to finance this because there's a lot of unknowns. So you'd be required to either pay cash or use what's called private funding, hard money lending, if you will. And that may in and of itself take you out of the game. But here's where the opportunities lie. Because of COVID, there was a foreclosure moratorium, which means banks and servicing companies were not allowed to foreclose on a lot of properties. For the most part, those have all expired. So there's actually a pent-up demand for banks to move forward with these non-performing loans. And they want to get these off their books. And to do that, they need to foreclose. At the same time, a lot of real estate investors, professionals that did this for a living, have left the industry and taken on new occupations because there was no business out there. So what does this mean? Well, there's going to be a wave of foreclosure auctions, and many of the existing real estate investors who buy at foreclosure are not going to be able to keep up with the supply. So there's room for more investors. Will you be ready? If the risk associated with this makes your stomach ache, I get that. And maybe you could wait and see if the bank takes that property back into its so-called REO portfolio, real estate owned. So if nobody bids on that property high enough to satisfy the bank, they become the owner. They then hire a real estate agent to sell it for them, and you become a typical buyer with certain restrictions, but you get to see the property, you get to go in the property, and you get to verify that it's vacant and what the condition is. But that will only happen if nobody else bids. Here's my advice. Identify a few properties that are up for auction, run those numbers, worst case scenarios. Go to those auctions, don't bring a certified check yet, and watch and learn and see how it would play out if you were there to bid with your top number. Then, just do it. Start. Go for it. If you want to strategize with me, I'm available to chat anytime on my Calendly link, calendly.com/mstyles. And I'll call you, and we'll spend 15 minutes talking about it and see if it makes sense for you. Or we could talk about other things, whatever you want. I hope this content was helpful. If it was, please share it with everyone and anyone. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Styles Law. But remember, whenever you're dealing with a financial, mortgage, real estate, insurance, or tax professional, and the conversation of legal services comes up, ask to work with the team at Styles Law. We'd love to help. Thank you and be well.